All right, let's dive into a topic that might sound a little dry, but I promise you, it's the engine that powers every single business out there. We're talking about accounting. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you why it's basically a language that everyone, and I mean everyone, should get the hang of.
So, let's just imagine for a second. You're running a business. Maybe it's a cool coffee shop or a tech startup, whatever. You've got money coming in, you've got money going out. But when you get to the end of the month, how do you actually know if you came out on top? Are you winning or are you just treading water?
You can't just go by how you feel. A busy day doesn't always mean a profitable one. Trying to just remember every single cup of coffee sold or every bill paid? No way, that's impossible. To really truly know what's going on, you've got to have a system. You need a way to keep score.
I mean, think about it. Without that system, you're basically flying blind. It's all just guesswork, confusion, and a whole lot of uncertainty. But with accounting, that's like getting a full dashboard for your business. All of a sudden, everything is clear. You can see your exact profit or loss and where you stand financially. It's what lets you steer the ship with real confidence.
And that right there brings us to what I think is the most powerful way to look at this whole thing. Accounting is the language of business. It's universal. It's how a company tells its story, how it's doing, how healthy it is, what it's worth, to everyone else.
So what exactly is this language made of? Well, at its heart, accounting is the system for, recording, classifying, and then summarizing all those financial transactions. But, and this is the important part, it's not just about collecting numbers for the sake of it. The real point is to take all that data and turn it into a clear picture of how the business is actually performing.
And get this language isn't some new thing. People have been tracking transactions for thousands of years, way back in ancient civilizations. But the game really changed in 1494. This Italian mathematician, Luca Pacioli, he's the one who wrote down the double entry system we still use today. After that, it got super professional, and now we have these global standards. You might have heard of GAAP or IFRS that are basically the grammar rules everyone agrees to follow.
Okay, so we know what it is, we know it's been around forever, but how does it, work? What are the actual steps that turn a bunch of random receipts into a story you can actually read?
It actually follows a pretty logical path. First, you have to identify any event that has a financial impact. Then, you record it, basically like writing in a diary or a journal, in the order it happened. Next up, you classify everything. You group all the similar things together in a ledger, so all your sales are in one place, all your rent payments are on another. After that, you summarize it all into something clean and easy to read. And then comes the magic, analysis. This is where you figure out what the numbers are actually telling you. And finally, you communicate what you found by sharing the reports.
Now, just like a language like English has different dialects for different situations, so does accounting. It's not just this one monolithic thing.
You've got a few big branches. Financial accounting is the one most of us think about. It's all about creating reports for people outside the company, investors, banks. Then you've got management accounting, which is the total opposite. It's the inside scoop, meant for the managers to help them make better decisions. And then you can get even more specific with things like cost accounting, which is all about figuring out the cost of making something, and tax accounting, which, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's about staying on the right side of the tax laws.
Which leads us to a really important question. After all this identifying, recording, and summarizing, who is actually reading this stuff? Who is the audience for this financial language?
Well, you can split the audience into two big camps. First, you have your internal users. This is the management team trying to plan for the next quarter. It's the owners wanting to know how their investment is doing. It's even the employees who might be curious about job security or potential bonuses. Then you have the external users. We're talking about investors who need to decide if they should buy or sell stock, banks that are sizing you up for a loan, and, of course, the government, making sure you're paying your fair share of taxes.
Okay, so after you've gone through the whole process and you know who you're talking to, what does the final result, the ultimate scorecard, actually look like? One of the most critical reports is called the balance sheet. Think of it as a snapshot of the company's health at one specific moment in time. And it all boils down to this beautifully simple equation. On one side, you have your assets. That's all the stuff the business owns. On the other side, you have your liabilities and owner's equity. That's all the stuff the business owes. And here's the golden rule, the absolute law of the land. Those two sides must always, always be equal. That's what keeps the whole system in balance.
So let's wrap this all up. Why does any of this really matter? Because accounting takes the potential chaos of business and turns it into pure clarity. It's the only way to know for sure if you're making a profit. It's the report card you show to investors to prove you're a good bet. And it's the map you use to make smart decisions about the future. Honestly, without it, You're just guessing.
But I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Accounting is incredible at telling the financial story of what has already happened, with pinpoint precision. But in the world we live in now, which is changing faster than ever, is that story of the past really enough to predict what's coming next?